How's your 6 day split, bro? You know, where you work out 1/6 of your muscles for each workout. Last episode was weight loss overcomplication. This time we're talking about fitness overcomplication. And I'm probably going to be shitting a lot on workout splits and bodybuilding and shit because that's what complicates fitness for a lot of people. Fitness is actually pretty simple. Just move your body, do the big patterns, push, pull, use your legs. And ideally the diet also plays a role because if you're exercising but you eat like complete and utter fucking dog shit and too much, I can't promise you're going to get fit. I mean, you can get really fat and be really strong, but I don't think there are any 350-pound fit people. So yeah, just doing the basic movements in a challenging way will get you fit. It's really that simple. But just like with weight loss, it can't be simple, can it? They gotta make some money, so I gotta complicate it. How do you get stronger legs? Well, of course, you gotta do pause deficit Bulgarian squats with a kettlebell and a rack hold, of course. Or you can just squat and lunge. How do you get a fatter ass? Many women ask. Well, of course, you got to do a million hip thrust. Well, those actually do help, but they're not as effective, and I'll say why later. But how you go your fat ass? Of course, you got to do the fucking that dumbass thing on the cables where you kick back. I think they're called kickbacks. I mean, those do kind of help too. But the thing is, all of these things they do help, but you can make it simpler. Instead of doing that shit, you can just squat and deadlift. This doesn't just apply to women in that case. Men, if you want a fatter ass, just fucking squat and deadlift and lunge. Trust me, women do appreciate the butt as well. Why are we talking about pussy here? We're getting way off track. Look, you don't even need to focus strictly on legs, butts, shoulders, blah, blah, blah. Unless you are competing or doing it for aesthetics, then by all means, do four sets of shoulder raises. It's 4 different exercises, 4 sets each of shoulder raises. By all means, do that if you want to. But if you're telling someone, hey, Monday we're doing chest, Tuesday shoulders, Wednesday back, Thursday biceps, Friday quads, Saturday wrist, Sunday hamstrings and calves. What the fuck are you doing? If you tell a beginner this shit, they're gonna think, oh my God, this is way too complicated. I'm never gonna make it. Again, if you're not competing or going for aesthetics, this is fucking stupid. And what happens, pray tell, if you miss a day for whatever reason? And I'm not saying, oh, you're gonna miss a day because you're a fucking pussy. No, like legit, your fucking mom died. You're not going to the gym, right? Now what happens? Your body's out of whack, it's imbalanced, or you're falling behind in your program, whatever it is. Not only that, but you're gonna localize your soreness, and it's gonna be fucking weird. Like Tuesday, your shoulders are gonna be sore as hell from the day before. Then Wednesday, your chest is gonna be sore as hell from the day before. It's just like a weird traveling soreness. Whereas ideally, if you work out bigger muscle groups at the same time, or multiple, I should say, your body gets used to being sore in bigger places. You can recover better and faster too. As well, in terms of recovery, I'm scatterbrained as hell. I'm ignoring the shit out of my fucking outline right. With recovery, the best time to take advantage of your full recovery is about 48 to 72 hours after you exercise. Basically, what happens is in very basic bro science terms, you exercise, you lightly damage and fuck up your body, right? Then it's time to recover. That'll take about 2 to 3 days. Then your body has recovered as basically as best as it's going to get. There's some exceptions, but pretty much you are good to go. That is the best time to then slightly damage your body again by exercising. Now, not everyone needs to exercise with like 1 or 2 days in between. You can have whatever kind of schedule you want. But if you're one of those weirdos who has this big ass complicated workout split where you split up your muscles throughout the week, you're only touching that small muscle group like once a week. Whereas if you were to do full body exercising every single time you worked out, you could hit all of your body 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week. That keeps it a lot simpler as well. Instead of thinking, oh, which muscle group did I hit yesterday? Let me look at this fucking anatomical chart where I colored in with my fucking crayons. Just hit everything every time, and it makes it so much simpler. The only split I kind of respect is doing like an upper lower, where you do the upper body and lower body. You go back and forth. I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer doing, everything every time, but that's a split I can respect. The other one I kind of respect. Push pull legs, much less so than upper lower. There's a car alarm going, some really loud shitty rap music playing, and an airplane flying over right now. I really hope none of this comes through in the recording. Jesus Christ. What the hell was I saying? Anyway, those are the only two splits I kind of respect, more so upper lower, because you're doing a lot, But even then, within the splits themselves, some people just really focus on very specific exercises. They're doing maybe a lower split. Oh man, I'm gonna do 3 exercises for my calves, 4 for my quads and my hamstrings, and for my ass cheek, then my other ass cheek, my ankle. Like, dude, just fucking squat or something. What I'm saying is, doing compound movements, my opinion, is not only preferable but also much simpler. If you overcomplicate it, you're gonna panic when you have to do your 4th fucking calf exercise, and then that machine's taken or these weights are oh no, I can't do whatever. Like, that can be completely eliminated by just focusing on the big movements. And in terms of the splits as well, just if you combine all the splits into just one day, one workout, I should say, that you can repeat multiple times, makes it much simpler. Try this thought experiment. Okay, Monday, you got push. So you do 3 different exercises for your shoulders, 3 for your triceps, 3 for your chest. Wednesday, doing pull. Do like 4 exercises for your back, 3 for your biceps. Friday, doing legs. 3 exercises for quads, 3 for hamstrings, 2 for calves. Let's compare this to doing full body. Monday, do 1 fucking exercise, maybe 2 if you want to, that encompasses your chest, your triceps, your shoulders, as in doing push-ups, overhead pressing, something. That one movement, that one exercise encompasses all of that stuff. You make sure it's, sufficiently challenging, and you're going to get basically the same results. Obviously, if you're bodybuilding and trying to do aesthetic stuff, whatever it is, yeah, you probably want to overload everything just so everything can pop more, whatever the fuck you're trying to achieve. But if you're going for strength and general fitness requires general movements. So you take that example, that's still Monday, doing a pushing exercise, doing a pulling exercise, which means your back and your biceps are getting in there. Maybe you're doing pull-ups or something, chin-ups. Then you're doing a leg exercise or 2, doing some squatting, maybe deadlifting. And then you do that same shit, maybe not necessarily the same exercises, unless you want to. Do the same thing Wednesday and Friday. Not only are you keeping it simple as hell, but you're hitting all those exercises you're hitting all those muscles in fewer exercises. I don't know about you, but that sounds way, way, way fucking better, way simpler to me. Well, people like to overcomplicate it. And this is why most of the New Year's resolutioners, when they enter the gym, they're like, hey, I'm going to start this fucking bodybuilding workout program. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, of course. But yeah, let's start doing three exercises for my triceps. Bro, your priorities are fucked, okay? Get full range of motion on your push-ups first. Try that first, okay? I basically went on a whole tangent of just complaining about splits, but basically fitness should be simple. You have progressive overload, which is essentially slightly, and I mean slightly, overdoing it in exercise so that your body has to rise to the occasion and become better. As in, you're doing a weight, it's pretty comfortable. You raise the weight a bit, it's pretty challenging now. Your body is going to get a bit used to it, and it's going to have to get stronger for that to happen. So you're overloading slowly, and your body will adapt. So you got progressive overload, you got caloric balance, not necessarily a deficit or surplus, but it depends on your goal. If you want to gain muscle, gain strength, you're more than likely going to have to do a caloric surplus safely, intelligently. You want to lose weight, lean out while you're exercising. A caloric deficit would be helpful. Small one, maybe, depending where you're at. Consistency is the other part of fitness, and recovery. You put all this together, progressive overload, caloric balance, consistency, and recovery, and you're good. Now, all that maybe sounds complicated if you're dumb, So let me try to simplify it for you. Challenge yourself. Don't eat like an idiot. Keep doing it and give yourself time to chill. That's all fitness is. Consistently challenge yourself and eat and rest intelligently. That's it. But people want to complicate it, and they're making a lot of money with it. Despite physical activity requirements in at least in America going down in daily life, the fitness industry has exploded into like $100 billion market. It's people, it's too complicated. They try this, and too complicated. They try this other thing. Too complicated. They don't understand it. They try something else. So the fitness overall of the country is not really increasing, but people are sure as hell making sales selling fitness to other people, counting on the fact that they're not going to understand fitness for themselves and they're just going to take their word for it. Now, I'm no stranger to making money with fitness, right? But I make sure my clients understand, hey, we're doing full body. These are the patterns. This is why it's be helpful for you, especially with your goal, blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to see that online or, marketing material. You're going to see, hey, you want a fat ass? Do this booty blast fucking workout with these bands, not telling people that what they're actually doing is, squatting and, watching their calories, probably have a bit of a surplus. Maybe they bulked and cut. And yes, I'm talking about women. They do that. A lot of women with the best figures ever, they actually know what the fuck they're doing. But if they're selling something, they know it's not very attractive. So they're just gonna say, hey, look at my fucking ass while I'm doing this not very effective exercise. Do this, and like I'm doing, and then you'll be like me. It's just easier to explain for people, and it just feeds into their, it answers their insecurities a bit. But long term, it's not, not really the way to go. Just follow someone without any explanation as to why they're doing what they're doing. For example, Bulgarian split squats have been around for a long time, but in recent couple of years, they've been very, very popular. I know people doing this online, and then I saw it in real life, people doing it like on the college campus that I work at. And these young people, I'm assuming they're getting all their information from the internet. They're doing these Bulgarian split squats and not understanding why. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically it's a lunge with your back leg elevated, probably on a bench or a chair. And then you also have weights too. So it's like a deficit lunge, but loaded. Or elevated lunge loaded. I don't know which part the back leg is for. I think it's a deficit lunge. But anyway, that's fucking great. Honestly, for lower body strength, it's fucking awesome. I don't do it because it's annoying as hell. I just do lunges and squatting and stuff instead. But my point is, a lot of people don't understand why you would do this. And why you would do this is it's a very challenging progression of a lunge. The thing is, a lot of people I've seen do this, they do it with the shittiest form ever, which means they probably can't do a regular lunge, which means they're just doing the Bulgarian split squat because they saw someone else do it. And actually, let me correct myself. It's more of a split squat, hence the name, than a lunge. And split squat is kind of like a lunge, except you're not going all the way back with your feet together. You're kind of, once you come up in the lunge, your feet are in that staggered stance and you just stay there. You just keep going up and down. So I want to correct myself before people call me a fucking idiot in the comments. Maybe I'm too late, honestly. If you were to call me an idiot in the comments, you would have done it by now, so fuck off. Anyway, I'm all for exercises that are challenging and cool and whatever, but if you don't understand why you're doing it, you're going to skip a lot of steps. Another example, kettlebell swing. A kettlebell swing is supposed to look like a kettlebell deadlift, except really fast. So fast that the kettlebell goes in front of you and then goes behind you, but your body itself is doing the hip hinge motion. It's doing a deadlift motion. Now, a lot of people, they don't truly understand the fitness of it. They're doing something that's too complicated for them. So instead of just, learning how to do a basic deadlift first, they go, oh, I'm just going to do a kettlebell swing because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And that was recommended by a fit person. And since everything's got to be so complicated, they just don't actually know how to do it. And so what they end up doing is a really shitty squat with a really shitty front shoulder raise. And I see this all the time. I think in my entire life, outside of, where I used to work at Equinox, I think I've only seen maybe 3 people in my entire life outside of that, maybe 2, do kettlebell swings correctly. Usually it's that really shitty squat shoulder raise thing. People are trying to overcomplicate things. Listen, if you can't squat, if you can't deadlift, don't fucking touch a swing. If you can't squat, if you can't lunge, don't fucking touch a Bulgarian split squat. If your range of motion on a basic dumbbell overhead press is garbage, don't touch a barbell for an overhead military press. That's the thing with the fitness being overcomplicated. People don't even understand the basics first. They don't understand the idea of progressions, regressions, all this kind of stuff. Now you might think, oh, but progressions and regressions, that sounds a bit complicated. Maybe, but my point is, people shouldn't be thinking about these advanced progressions and stuff like that. Just do the basic movement first and foremost. Don't overcomplicate it. Just fucking do it. Do a push. Just do a squat. Do a hinge. Do a pull. That's it. Don't think about how you can load this up, how you can move your leg at a 30-degree angle to do this other thing, do a fucking curtsy lunge and shit. Stop. Just fucking squat. Just fucking lunge. Just push. Just deadlift. Just do not overcomplicate it. People are making so much money off you because you're looking for some overly complex solution to your problem. Solution is just doing the basic shit first and possibly just sticking with that. Now, some of these people who try to do this overcomplicated stuff, at the very least, I'll give them this. They're brave. There are a lot of people who they see all this complicated shit and they're just like, I'm just not going to exercise at all. They just feel overwhelmed and don't even start. And that sucks. So at least props to those people who want to try that wild shit. But the thing is, a lot of people are spending money on these products and programs that make things extra complicated. And a lot of times they're less effective because if you truly know what you're doing, you know the truth that the basics are the most helpful. You ever seen what very fit people do or what powerlifters do or something? The same fucking shit every time. Pretty much. Obviously, there's room for variety, but the same basic stuff works. That's why with my clients and in general, when I coach, I tell them, hey, we're doing movements, okay? If they want to swap some shit out, that's totally fine. But if you focus on movements, things become a lot easier. You go to the gym with the intention of, hey, I'm going to, in the same session, push, pull, do some leg stuff. Again, in the same session, not in a split. It makes it much easier instead of thinking, oh man, I got to do one-armed dumbbell pressing, I got to do the tricep kickback, I got to do... Stop. Just think about pushing. What can you do with the equipment available? Oh, you can only do push-ups? Fucking great. You're pushing. You only have this weight available? Fucking great. Do some kind of pressing. You focus on the pattern itself, and then the specifics are not that important. A lot of people follow very complex, very specific programs, and they feel like they fail at fitness when they can't keep up with this or don't fully understand it. Holy hell, me complaining about splits made this episode take a fucking long-ass time. Let's go to the devil's advocate section here. Complex approaches are necessary because fitness is complex because people are different. Not really. There are some slight things that might change due to physiological differences. For example, if you're a really tall person, you should really pull a lot. Your back needs to be strong as shit because if not, basically what's going to happen is gravity is going to push you down over time and you will collapse on yourself if you don't have muscle to support your skeleton. That is unfortunately what happens to tall people. Gravity just fucks them up over time. So you got to get stronger. If you're a lanky person and you're tall as hell, gravity's going to have fun with you, but you won't be having any fun. And if you're short, for example, deadlifting is awesome. Not that it's easier, but it's more comfortable. And women, actually, they can deadlift a bit. What I've noticed with my clients, when I was doing it in person, before I switched to online coaching, the women had a really much easier time deadlifting than the men did. Because their hips are wider. So the hinging it seemed more comfortable for them. I'm not saying women can outdo men in deadlifts because of that reason. What I'm saying is, it seems easier. It seems more comfortable for them due to the way the skeleton is. Now, again, none of these things really make it so that fitness is overly complicated or anything like that. It has to be complicated. You should still deadlift. You should still do the basic movement patterns. Whether you're tall, whether you're short, just fucking challenge yourself safely. Some people might also say, different approaches work for different people. Some people need fucking this and that to succeed in their fitness. Some people mentally might need that, maybe. Some people might need to that, oh, I need to run to be fit. You know what? Have fun. You don't need to run. You can maybe swim, bike, do something else. You need to overcomplicate it with a super specific, cardio routine or whatever. Just aim to do something that's challenging, ideally somewhat enjoyable for you. Just fucking go. It can be whatever you want. You don't need to say, oh, I've made these choices and it has to be this way. So I'm going to overcomplicate it, but it has to be this specific way for me to succeed. No. It can be many which ways. What? My English is failing me. It can be any which way, honestly, that you exercise, as long as it's challenging and involves the majority of your body. You don't like running? Go swim. You don't like using weights? Use your body. Some might also say, your fitness needs to change as you get older. That's true. Kind of. You can't do the same volume that you used to, but if you stayed fit for the majority of your life, you can do most of the same things that you did, just at, maybe a lower intensity, lower weight, whatever it is. There's some 80-year-olds who can still do pull-ups. So don't think, oh man, when I'm fucking old, or if I'm old, I got to do this complicated fucking machine workout routine that involves all this mobility and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, you should work mobility at any age, honestly, but for fitness, it doesn't need to be this fucking complex. You don't need that stuff. Again, just focus on the patterns, focus on challenging yourself. Even when you're older, that level that it'll take to challenge yourself will be lower, but still, that's all you're gonna need. This is running way too fucking long, man. Let's run through these stats. Apparently, Americans spend an average of $1,860 annually on gym memberships, equipment, and supplements. I don't know where the fuck that is, that it costs that much, but yeah, maybe. I mean, if you count the supplements and stuff, a lot of people are like, oh man, I need fucking creatine. Listen, creatine's helpful for recovery and energy in the gym. But you don't need creatine. You don't need to do all the supplement stuff. And this episode's way too long, but I should have spoken about. Actually, you know what? Fuck you. It's gonna be as long as I want it to be. This is mine. We're talking all these supplements, these BCAAs, amino acid, these protein shit. Listen, yeah, getting enough protein is really, really helpful. If you don't get enough, then your strength gains are gonna be very limited. I'll say that. But you don't need to be chugging protein shakes every day, all this creatine, all this kind of shit. All of it can help, but you don't need to. Just eat decently, challenge yourself, recover enough, and you are good. You don't need fucking 12 tubs of shit in your pantry of various supplements. You need to be going to the gym. Oh man, I'm pouring in my fucking pre-workout. No, your pre-workout is your fucking brain, dude. I've seen people bring shaker bottles to the gym. Like, man, you're trying to get that pre-workout in right fucking now, and then at the end, already getting their protein in. Now, holy shit. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. Eating a bunch of protein about an hour and a half after you exercise is pretty great for recovery and gains, but you don't need to do that. You don't need to. That's overcomplicating all this fucking ritualistic shit. You don't need it. And you don't need fucking apps for fitness either. You don't need to get on Strava to track your runs and make sure it's all proper and shit. You don't need Fitbits or fitness trackers or anything like that to see, oh my God, how many calories did I burn today? That's a useless metric, by the way, your calories burned on fitness trackers. That's wildly inaccurate, and that is kind of already built into when you found out your calories to begin with if you use a good calorie calculator. So as a side note, just don't listen to calories burned as a metric ever. Or rather, you can read it, listen to it, whatever, but don't factor it into weight loss if you're trying to do that. Just don't do that. Just don't overcomplicate it with insane amounts of warm-ups and all this kind of stuff. Like, you can have your warm-up, get ready, do some jumps, wave your arms around, whatever the hell. Get yourself literally physically warm. But man, just doing this 40-minute thing before you even start, like, come on. Just don't overcomplicate it. This stat's funny. The average fitness enthusiast spends 5.2 hours per week researching fitness, but only 3.5 hours actually exercising. I don't think I even spend 3.5 hours exercising per week, to be honest. I'm very efficient. But the point is, people are spending more time looking up information regarding fitness, because everything's so fucking complicated out there, than actually doing fitness. 82% of fitness consumers, whatever the hell that means, fitness enjoyers, fitness attempters, I don't know. What the fuck how do you consume fitness? They report feeling confused by conflicting fitness advice. That number is higher than I'd like it to be, but that makes sense when you take into account everyone. Maybe fitness consumers includes people who just follow fitness accounts on social media or something. Then this makes more sense. Fitness apps have increased by 330% in the past decade, yet obesity rates continue to rise. Maybe it's too challenging for them to think about their fucking 10 rep max and calculate that to their 1 rep max. Who gives a shit about all that stuff, man? Like, if you actually do care, fine. If you're trying to go be the strongest, be the coolest looking, competing, whatever, that's fine. But honestly, for the majority, stop thinking about all that shit. It's crazy. Like, for example, 63% of fitness consumers believe they need specialized equipment to get results, despite research and common sense showing that bodyweight exercises can be pretty fucking effective. You don't need all this equipment at home. Now, honestly, if you get to a point where you're fairly strong, doing stuff at home, you'll be limited a bit. Like, obviously, you can still be fit. Just get a pull-up bar, get the floor for push-ups, and increase the amount, the amount of repetitions, I guess. But at home, for example, squatting or lunging, maybe you can carry some stuff. But without certain equipment, you might be hitting a wall at some point. But again, most people don't need to think about that. They need to just fucking exercise to begin with. And you can do a lot of stuff at home. A lot. Like, honestly, there's some people who think, oh man, I need these weights so I can do pressing at home. Can you do like a single arm push-up? No? Try towards that. It's going to be fucking hard. Be challenging enough for you, I promise. You don't need I would love a home gym, like a legit one, but you don't need that shit. The average person is exposed to 27 different workout methodologies before choosing one. I didn't know there were 27 to begin with. I guess they're counting, biking, walking, yoga, like all that kind of stuff. I mean, being exposed to that, it's not bad, I think. It does make people think that fitness is really complicated, though. And 80% of people believe they need those supplements I was bitching about earlier to achieve their fitness goals. Whereas scientific backing states that 5% of these have 5% of these supplements have significant scientific backing. So not many. As in, a lot of them are not super helpful or maybe not helpful at all. As opposed to just, fucking exercising. 89% of fitness influencers promote complex approaches that they themselves don't follow. I do find that to be kind of suspect when people recommend things that they don't actually try themselves or do themselves consistently. Like I was saying with the female fitness influencer example, they have a body that most women would want. They have the big ass butt cheeks, and they say, yeah, I did it by doing band shit. Just fucking going on the floor and doing weightless hip thrusts. When in reality, they squatted heavy as fuck. But they're telling, yeah, just do actually, 17 sets of these band thingies. By the way, I was saying before, hip thrusting is not the most ideal. Like, it can help with, gaining strength in the butt. But honestly, I prefer deadlifting. It's very similar, and you get to utilize more of your posterior chain, so your back gets involved, your hamstrings get involved, more of your body gets involved. So I wouldn't be as specific as fucking doing hip thrusts, honestly. Unless you're limited for equipment, that can be helpful, I guess, just to get something in there. 71% of people who successfully maintain fitness results for 5 years report that they follow simple, consistent routines. Well, wouldn't you know it, the simple, consistent things that you can just do easily are what stick. Who would have thunk it? I've seen some wild shit on the internet before. Like this guy, I think you guys might have seen this before. Like this guy who's like super fit. He's running on treadmill, like carrying shit, doing weird fucking shit while running, just carrying other human beings. Like, I know that stuff is probably just for views or whatever, but some people think they have to complicate cardio and fitness to that level. Like, oh man, let me run with dumbbells and do presses every 32 seconds. Stop. Please. Majority of what you're doing is going to be simple. If you want to have fun or add extra stuff, go for it, but start simple. If you start overcomplicated, it's not gonna last. So how do you combat fitness overcomplication? Just hit all the big movement patterns in a challenging way. Don't eat like shit and get enough rest. That's pretty much it. I would also add on to that, if you want to go farther, to track what matters to you. So if you actually do care about getting strong, track the weights that you're using. If you care about stamina, track the timing of whatever you're doing. If you care about calisthenics, track the progress into the actual feats you're doing. If you care about the appearance of yourself, take pictures, track that. Just focus on what actually matters in terms of your goal and keep track of that to keep it as simple as possible. But at the end of the day, you just need to challenge yourself and be reasonable. Honestly, the people who do these really overcomplicated, quote unquote, perfect routines or optimal routines, they almost never stick to that kind of thing. They just do it for attention. The basic stuff is very easy to kind of maintain. A good rule of thumb is, if you're thinking about kind of a routine or an exercise habit, right? Think in 10 years, would you be okay doing this? Or would you be able to still do this for like 10 years? If so, you got something good. If not, think about why you're doing that complicated shit to begin with if you can't keep it up for like 10 years. I've been exercising for, I want to say, it's been 17 years, I think. There are large periods of my fitness career, so to speak, where I was doing just the same thing for years. Now, I do change sometimes. For example, in the last 2 years, I've changed from doing mostly barbell stuff to mostly doing body weight, free weight type stuff, like kettlebells, handstands, that kind of thing. I do touch barbells every now and then, but only if I want to do something cool, like overhead press. But generally, not too much. So there's variety. You can change the way that you're doing things, but to start off, or just in general, I recommend having a fundamental, easy base that you can stick with. Because if you can't stick with it, it doesn't matter how fucking optimal or complex whatever the workout is. You're not going to do it. So keep it simple, stupid. What's the most complicated thing that you've seen at the gym? Leave a comment. I think it's not, the most complicated thing I've seen in general is probably some wild shit I've seen online, but in person, I think is the most complicated thing is I have seen. I think it was either on a power rack, like a regular squat rack, or a Smith machine. Someone had gloves, belt, bands around their knees, and they were doing squats, I think on the Smith, maybe on the regular squat rack. And they were doing like half reps, maybe quarter reps with all that shit. And I'm thinking, you have no fucking idea what you're doing, do you? Now, very often I miss the part, but that's my problem, so I don't go over and talk to them or anything. But I'm just thinking, man, I can't remember the last time I've seen someone do a fucking squat with proper range of motion. It's crazy. So people, by the way, don't overcomplicate it by adding weight. If you can't squat until your thighs are parallel to the floor, don't fucking add weight. Focus on the fundamentals first. Anyway, what's the wildest thing you've ever seen? Leave a comment. Anyway, I hope you make it. See you next time.